One of the most useful panels, sets of tools in Illustrator is the Pathfinder. And here's the panel, Pathfinder. And if you haven't got it up, you can go to the window menu and go down to P for Pathfinder. You've got this actually in some of the other applications as well, but it does most. There are more options in Illustrator. And it's basically a way of using one shape to play around with another. For example, let's draw something. And by the way, I've just created an artboard and given it a color because frankly I'm tired of white. It's too bright. So here we go. Two shapes, one on top, the circle on top and one below. Select them both. And there are two rows, and what I also want to see is my layers panel. Let's go to my layers. Let's have a look here what we've got. There we go, ellipse and rectangle. Now the top row does one thing and the bottom row does something else, but they all interact. So the first one from the left to right is unite, and if I click on it you can see it's one shape, and if we look at our layers it's one path. Remember, Illustrator can only make silhouettes, but using this you can actually create some really nice shapes very quickly. And second from the left is the minus front, or it's like a cookie cutter. The top shape cuts out the bottom shape. So if I click on that, we've got a cutout. Works very nicely. Third one is leave where they're overlapping and delete everything else. Undo. And the last one is the reverse, where they overlap, get rid of. And you can see this is another reason why I've got a background color on. You can see it's completely transparent. So where they overlap, delete and leave everything else. So I'll undo. But there's something else it does. As you see, when I roll over, it says Option click or Alt click on Windows to create a compound shape. And what does that mean? Well, let's do it. Option click, and it unites the shapes like I did before, except you can still see the original shape. And what does that mean? It means I can still edit the result. And you edit by clicking on the white arrow tool or pressing A, click off, and click and drag on the circle. See, and I can edit it and play around with it. And if I select everything that's the circle only, I can move it and edit it, and it will still, now I've got too much selected I think, so let's try again. Select that, shift click, shift click, shift click, and I'll use the arrow keys this time, and there we go. And if I click off, you can see it's adjusted the result. In other words, it's a non-destructive way of producing the result. And on the right hand side you see we've got like a special type of group called a compound shape, and if I expand that, you can see I still got the two shapes, and if I hide one, the original shape snaps back, which is really handy for non-destructive editing. So it's always worthwhile keeping in mind that you can do this. And if I'm happy with that, I'm saying, you know, let's make a copy of this. Oh, click off, select them both, move it over. There you go. Alter option. All right. Now be careful. I've double clicked by mistake. So I'm in, look in the top left hand corner, I'm in the compound shape. That's why I was having problems selecting the whole shape. So double click outside, click once, and now click on the edge. We can move it around. See, so be careful. Can you see it's gone back into the compound shape? Double click outside. So now just click and drag, click off, click on, click and drag. Oh, there you go. And so on and so forth. So just be a little bit careful. Double clicking goes into the shape. So a compound shape is what you get also with text, and you can see I'm in the compound shape. So you can actually use this to edit it as well if that's what you want. Double click outside, click and drag and move. So let's make a copy of this, and we can expand it. Expand means click on it. See, it's just a simple path. I can no longer edit it like separate shapes. but I can edit it, of course, as a normal path to play around, which works very well. Okay, so what's the other row do? Let's delete that. Well, this just does something similar, but slightly different. So let's create something like this. And there we go. And let's select everything. I can't make this non-destructive. There's no sort of alt click or anything else like that. So let's have a look. So the first one from the left is divide. And as you can see, it trims the lines outside the shape. Click off, click on. Oh, I double clicked. There you go. See, it's a group. And can you see they're all separate paths? In other words, those lines cut through. And I can click on that and ungroup. Click off, click and drag. See, the lines act like as a cheese wire. It cuts through the shape. It's really handy to create different shapes very, very quickly. And I didn't have to be precise about, let's go back to where they were, about getting them to the edge of the shape. Second from the left is a trim. Let's have a look. Yeah, see, sort of, I don't know if that does, it's grouped it as well. Let's come out of that. Let's ungroup that, Command Shift G, click off. Oh. Okay, I've got something else on my computer. Let's ungroup, click off, click on. There you go. So the trim again has done something similar, but it's set it to no stroke. There you go. Third from the left is a merge, which again you can see is a group. You see we've got loads of paths here. Let's ungroup that. Click off. Again, it's a cut through on this. Let's see if we can produce something a bit better. We've got that, and let's produce, say, something like that. Select them both. So let's do second from the left, trim, undo, merge. Yeah, so you see it's similar to unite, but it's getting rid of the stroke. And fourth from the left is a crop. So you can see where they overlap. And the next one is an outline, which obviously gives you an outline, no fill. And the last one is a minus back, which is quite interesting rather than the other one at the top, which is a minus front. But I generally tend to use divide. I don't bother with the others, and the top row work very well as well. So Pathfinder is very, very handy. And let's select everything and delete. And let's show you something. So I've got, let's click off, go to the center. There you go. So I've got two shapes, white fill, black stroke, and I'm going to choose the second from the left, the minus front. And so I now get a cutout, which is very, very handy. But of course, if I want to, I can just do Alt click and I can double click inside. Look in the top left, you see I'm in the compound shape. Look on the right, there it is, a special type of group. And now I can move it around. And I'm using the mouse at the moment. Let's hold the shift key down. But I can also use the arrow keys, or shift up and down arrow, which is like a jump, and left and right, of course. And that's how you use the Pathfinder.